Jerry World and AT&T Stadium today here for Big 12 Football Media Days. Thank you so much for joining us. Jake LeBon, along with Dan Lucero, sitting at the goal line. That is right. We are at the goal line on the north end zone here at Jerry World. And boy, we got a jam-packed edition of Mic'd Up and 580 Sports Talk. We'll be talking a lot of college football for the next 6 hours. No Royals baseball will be discussed. Dan might throw in a little bit of his boy Diaz winning the All-Star World Series.
Elias Diaz. Put some respect on the All-Star Game MVP.
All-Star Game MVP. But we got a lot to get to. We've already talked with Lance Leipold today. We'll play that today coming up here at the bottom of the hour. We are going to hear from Brett Yormark, the Big 12 commissioner, and in fact, he is going right now. We want to get to what the commish, the mover and the shaker, has to say about the Big 12. We go live to the podium for Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark here from Big 12 Football Media Days.
In the
Having a little technical difficulties for the press conference with Brett Yormark, but I can tell you this: the Big 12 has been open for business, and the Big 12 will continue to be open for business. And now a brand new brand refresh going on. A video being displayed right now in Jerry World. This is incredible.
That's a cool video.
This is incredible. We got the feedback. Let's go back to the current video that you cannot see because this is not a visual medium, but at least you can hear it, and we'll get back to more of what Brett Yormark had to say, and will continue to say about the Big 12, uh, the conference of Instagram and Twitter
The
follows.
Clout Conference.
He wants to make this is a different Big 12. This is a 2023 Big 12, which is a great situation to be in. So we will throw it back to the Big 12 video, and Brett Yormark will be back to address the brand refresh when it comes to this. So we'll go back to Brett Yormark at the podium. We will take a quick timeout, and we will hear from Brett Yormark for a abbreviated chat. I have no idea if there's going to be a Q&A. I have no clue. So we are kind of just winging it here on the goal line here at AT&T Stadium from Jerry World. So we will get a quick timeout. We'll take a little break while they take a break, and when we come back, we will see if we can hear the comments from Brett Yormark, and if he does take any Q&A on honestly the expansion. That's the number one thing. What's going on with the expansion side of things. We'll get a quick timeout. Coming up next, we'll hear more from Brett Yormark here from Big 12 Football Media Day. To AT&T Stadium here in Arlington, Texas for the Big 12 Football Media Days. Jake LeBon along with Dan Lucero, another little show swap. Fulton Caster will be back on Friday. He's going to team up with Brendan Dorzinski as we are live here from AT&T Stadium. So we are going to hear from Lance Leipold. I already talked with the head Jayhawk himself. We're going to get to that in the bottom of the hour here in about 10 minutes. We'll get a little of this chat from Brett Yormark, talk about some of the comments leading forward. We'll get to a lot more in the 1 o'clock hour as well. But right now, let's go back to Brett Yormark and hear if he's got any more updates on what's going to be for the future of the Big 12. So that is what Brett Yormark had to say today about expansion. We will get into all of that coming up. I can tell you this: they got a plan. That plan is expansion. Now I'm even more excited about what the Big 12 is going to look like. So we'll get a quick timeout. Coming up, we're going to hear from Lance Leipold. We had a chance to talk with the head JF. We'll talk more about the Big 12 and Brett Yormark's comments. That's all coming up here on Big 12 Football Media Days here on Mic'd Up. Welcome back to Big 12 Football Media Days here in Arlington, Texas at AT&T Stadium, and we bring in the head Jayhawk coming off one of the best years in the last decade for KU football as they head to the bowl game last year and one of the wildest games I've ever seen down in Liberty for the Arkansas against Arkansas. We're bringing head coach Lance Leipold. Lance, I got to know, the level of excitement for KU football hasn't been like this maybe since, 2008, 2009. Can you explain to me and to everyone out there how you're seeing a different alumni base and a group that's so excited for this team?
Well, first of all, it's great to be with you guys. Appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, it's been special. I think the one time, the thing that's resonated with me in like 26 months of being here is the passion that our fan base has had, but also some of those frustrations that I've gone through, and they've been very patient. Now it's that excitement that they see progress. They've seen some wins, the bowl game, and they feel that we're on a direction. But, the other part is there's some that have been through these games and when there's not a lot of people there that really watch and they can see the difference, whether it be on the sidelines and how the kids act and where we're going. And that's all positive to me. And that's part of what we're trying to do. And I think with the amount of players that we have coming back, hopefully and we're ready to take another step.
What's been the biggest change when you first got onto campus till now with your team?
I think trust and growth and maturity and what the process is really about. I know that's a word that's used a lot, but what it's going to take through the daily expectations, I think they've embraced what we're asking them to do. And then again, you take it just personal growth and maturity, because with some of those things, the confidence follows afterwards. I say this many times. I think our staff has done a great job of holistic development, not just football development. We've had 2 semesters in a row with program best GPAs in the classroom. Okay. But with that though, expectations of being there, the engagement, the effort in the classroom, the players start seeing results that they've never seen before, and personal confidence kind of grows with that. And I think we've seen that carry on, that our guys are taking that next step on the field, and that's really been exciting.
Last year, 5-0. I mean, it was electric. College game day is there. I mean, if you'd have told us before the season, hey, game day is going to be in Lawrence, I would have said, I'm not going to believe you. And then you finish a little bit down. Is it something about the start to the finish? How do you make sure you can make it all the way through?
Well, that's the next question. Okay, that we have to. We're going to have a challenging start again, and we got to get off to a good start. But consistent, 12-game, 13-week football is going to be extremely important to this program. I think the thing that has to happen is of course you got to stay healthy. I mean, it wasn't just Jalen going down. We lost Daniel Highshaw. Then all of a sudden, I don't think we had the depth we needed in the offensive line, and you start wearing down, and the matchups start getting. We went down to Oklahoma, and they had an off week before that after they had stubbed their toe, and they came out on fire, and we didn't respond well. And again, there was some same thing. Turn the ball over at Baylor uncharacteristically. We've got to be able to prevent those things and respond accordingly. And I think that's kind of the way you mentioned that bowl game. To me, it was, I'm so proud of our team for the way we fought back. And I've said this many times, is you watch bowl games and the score gets out of control at halftime and people just play it out. And they kind of go through the motions and hopefully get through it. Our guys battled. And I think that was such a great stepping stone, even though we didn't complete it, to take this next step. We're close and we can be there, but we got to be there all the time. And I think that's helped us. And I think it'll carry over through this season.
I think this is the toughest question for someone in your position when you've got a guy like Jalen Daniels. He is electric with the football, throwing it and running it. How often do you run the guy? I mean, that is something that you just don't know. Hey, he's so good at it, but gosh, the more hits the quarterback takes, how do you decide that? How do you decipher that play calling and telling Jalen, hey, you got to pick and choose, man, when he's going to want to go full throttle.
Right. And when he was injured, we make sure it was on a scramble play. It was a play that broke the pocket. So it wasn't a designed run. But again, that's, why don't they run the ball with quarterbacks in the NFL? You're answering the question, right? So, again, it doesn't mean we're going to be reckless, but we're confident with Jason Bean as well and what he's done. But we know we're a different football team when Jalen Daniels is behind center. We got to be smart, but the RPO game and the options that we've included, sometimes will dictate he's going to run the ball. We have to be smart. We have to talk to him. We've talked with him and quarterbacks in our offenses in the past, when to get down, when to lunge forward, when to slide, when to do those things. All are important, and we got to be able to take advantage of those things and coach him and be smart for hopefully a 12-plus game season.
We're talking with Lance Leipold, head coach of the Kansas Jayhawks from Big 12 Football Media Days at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Coach, you've got one of the more experienced teams in the country coming back, and a lot of players coming back who've been part of your program now for a season or two. How does that change your responsibility and give the players a little bit more of the responsibility of growing the culture, setting the standard, and making sure that everybody knows what's expected of them?
Well, very good question. And the thing was, our first year or last year at Media Day, we sat and talked about that we're the youngest Power 5 football team in the country in 21. And then we take a step. Now here we are. From day one, though, Matt Gildersleeve, our head strength coach, does an outstanding job. But part of our culture and our culture curriculum, quite honestly, and how we go about in the off season, what we're doing is to always strive to get to a player-led program and then continue that. And 4 guys that are here today are part of that and what we see. And again, as they embrace it and they've learned it and they learn trust and they grow personally, then they can lead others a little better. But I think we continue to take those things that they have held each other to that standard. And it is an important part for us to take that step where the coaches don't have to do all the leading per se. And that's the way it was in 21. I think some last year, but I think we're slowly being able to back off of that.
Jalen Daniels, obviously special talent, preseason Offensive Player of the Year. You've got Devin Neal back. You've got, I think, 8 of your pass catchers back. Luke Grimm, I think, is one of the most underrated players in the country. But up front, you have been able to put together an experienced offensive line that should be one of the best Kansas has fielded in years. Talk about those guys, how important continuity is for that group up front.
It is. As you know, you can only do so much out there if you don't have the guys up front. Mike Nowitzki's the guy right in the middle. Mike's been with us, since our days in Buffalo. And, again, he's going to be a 5-year college starter, which is amazing. And then the way he goes through it, I think Bryce Cabledew at the right tackle spot has been solid now for 2 years. Michael Ford is going to be at right guard. Amarje Reed Adams is going to be probably left guard. And then Dominic Pooney and Logan Brown will be looking at that left tackle spot. Pooney can always bump back in. It's very important for the continuity of what we're doing, what we're asking them to do. Scott Fuchs has done a great job developing those guys. But the thing I like about what you're asking and the question that makes me even more confident with that group is I think we have 3 to 4 others that will be ready to play. Spencer Lovell, trade transfer from Cal. He's played some at Arizona State. He's finally come in, he's been able to get a little healthier than he was out there. He's dropped some weight. Kobe Baines is a player that transferred from Louisville last August during camp, so it was tough to get him. He's a physical. He can play the right side guard tackle spot. So we've got guys. I mentioned Logan Brown, the transfer from Wisconsin, has played a lot of football in the Big Ten. So now we've got the movable parts and that we're able it's always Scott Fuchs, our line coach, and I and Andy Kolnicki, we talk about this, guys. Sometimes when you have just a backup right tackle, a backup left tackle, he may be your 9th or best or 10th best offensive lineman. Okay, and if one of those guys get hurt, you're playing 6 through 9 are still sitting on the bench or something. We've got enough movable parts with those guys that can play different positions that allow us to have our best guys on the time, but also rotate some during the year that'll keep us fresh in those physical ball games that hopefully will help us down that back half of the season.
defensively. I know third down was a source of frustration last year. You've got to be able to get off the field on those third downs. Pass rush is a big part of that. You lose your sack leader from last year, Lonnie Phelps. Who are the names and faces that need to step forward in your front seven on your defensive line to make sure that you've got that edge rush, that pass rush presence to give you a chance to get those stops, get that offense back on the field?
Yeah, when you say on the edge, it's probably going to start with Jeremy Robinson. Again, Jeremy showed some flashes. He's going to be a guy continually to go. Hayden Hatcher is kind of a grinder, high effort guy. He's had an outstanding summer. Austin Booker's been a transfer from Minnesota. Dean Miller was a junior college transfer a year ago who we redshirted. He's long. He's a little lean yet, but he's got the twitch and ability to get around the corner. Dylan Brooks is a transfer that we brought in this summer from Auburn. I think those are going to be some of the guys that you're going to see. It's going to be some rotational stuff there. Devin Phillips, the transfer from Colorado State, is a big, thick body, but has some quickness interiorly. And Gage Keys has been a guy when he was at Minnesota, he played both spots. He's an athletic guy from a three technique position, I think is going to help us in the pass rush.
The last couple questions for head coach Lance Leipold of the Kansas Jayhawks. I got to know about the transfer portal. It's a good thing, I think, but also I wonder if kids aren't trying to stick it out a little bit longer. To each their own, it's different. But for a head coach, do you have to recruit your players every single year? And is it a benefit for a place like Kansas? Like, hey, you know what? We need to use this to our advantage.
Well, recruit them every year, every day. Because our guys been pretty good, and I think somebody showed me something that we had the least. I think us and Baylor might have had the least amount of players that left from August to the end of the portal period in the Big 12 last season. But you guys know a lot better than me what Kansas football had gone through prior to that, and I think prior to my hiring, even in December or January, they're on the higher end. So stabilizing the roster, the under scholarship part that Kansas was at, we were able to try to get the recruiting numbers up, balance them throughout the age groups, which you strive for. I think for the most part, we lost 3 defensive starters from the year before the first month I was on the job, and I didn't get a chance to talk to those guys. I think we've been able to be there and where you want to settle it. I hope that it settles out for college football. There will always be certain positions, I think, that'll probably be a little more active. We want to try to take the approach, guys, that, when you have a senior in your eligibility, roster area, you're looking to replace with a high school player, just like you always did before. Now, if you end up with attrition for one reason or another with a middle classman, so to speak, or something like that unexpectedly, then I think you have to go back and look to, utilize where you can upgrade your roster. Sometimes that used to be done, as we know, with the Jayhawk Conference in junior college football. But now you have another option out there. But again, the thing we have to do is make sure that we're making great evaluations in recruiting and then developing and retaining those players. I
got to ask about name, image, and likeness. How important is it?
Well, it's here to stay, and it's good. I mean, we all, society-wise, we're always, in the dollars and cents and how much, but there's a lot of good stories about young men using the money appropriately and what they need to use it for. I think we're all looking for some better guardrails in this and how it's going to be monitored and what is truly going to be a sustainable model in this format.
Do you worry about the locker room? I get so many people who are like, well, you got the quarterback making so much money and then the left tackle, it's not. And I'm like, that tells me you've never been in a locker room.
Yeah, I think everybody worries about that. They worry about the locker room. Anything else that adds into human jealousy and divide and all those things, because you work so hard at trying to build unity. I've tried to say it could be the same thing with your coaching staff, okay, and salaries and everything else and continuity and those things. Yeah, I would be lying if I said it's not a concern. I think our guys have handled it. It's still an evolving thing, and hopefully everyone can make it work and work for the best.
All right, last two for the road. I'm always interested in this. Do you have a conditioning test? Does KU do a conditioning test?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah, no, not to worry. They did a conditioning test when we gave them a break over 4th of July. but conditioning is every day in our
I'm
program.
just interested in like the specific test because I
No.
find that fascinating. Everyone does things differently.
We used to do that 300 shuttle, like 60 yards 5 times. And
I hated that.
You know,
That was awful.
But I used to say to our strength coaches, and I was probably guilty because I used to love the test but we never tested for the test. We never gave them a chance to pace themselves and do it. We do all these other things. So, but we went through it, you know, again, those are things that people don't always understand. Like we don't run sprints after practice anymore.
No.
Everything's done because we're with them so much that we see it, engage it in other ways.
All right, lastly, who picks the music for practice? Do you pick it? Do the players? Do you have veto power?
Yeah, I have veto power on a lot of things. But, yeah, you believe it or not, though, you know, there's certain days and there's certain things picking up. Our video coordinator, actually, Jimmy Lee, is the guy that does most of it. I think he takes, I mean, we ask players to give suggestions in and out, whatever. I'll give them a hard time on a song or two or something. I'll try to play a little Taylor Swift or something to keep Kenny Logan happy or something.
Wait, whoa.
No, don't tell my son.
Kenny Logan is Swiftie?
Yeah, you may have to ask him that today. All right.
Wow.
He will.
And
that's 1,000%.
I don't think he'll run from it either.
She's got some hits.
But yeah, you know, there's some of those things. But you know, honestly, for me, there's sometimes like we have some, you know, depending on who's visiting and things like that. Now it's always censored and all that, but for me, it's certain times of the practice where it gets into, you know, beats per minute or whatever we're looking at. You know, that's what you want. We're a morning practice team. There's certain days and it shows the help, and there's certain times. Our coaches are more concerned about how loud it is at certain times of practice when you're trying to get points across and stuff like that.
Well, Coach, we appreciate the time. Best of luck against the Jayhawks, and we'll be definitely there. Missouri State coming up.
It is. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the opportunity to be with you.
That is the head coach of the Kansas Jayhawks, Lance Leipold. Always fun to run down Lance Leipold. And the one thing I got from him there, Dan, is I think he's excited about his guys up front.
Yeah,
and that's so big. If you, and that's the one thing that Houston and UCF and BYU and Cincinnati. That's the one thing. It's not just, oh, we're going to play one or two big games a year against big competition. It's all 9, and you got to be good up front. And that's what Lance Leipold said at the very beginning. You know, we weren't ready for it up front. I mean, the first year Lance Leipold had, they got just destroyed up front. They're not going to do that anymore. I think that is such a big factor because we know they got the skill dudes. I mean, you can see the Daniels and the receiving core and Neal, Kenny Logan, Kobe Bryant. They got the Jimmies and Joes at the skill spots. Can you do it up front? I think O-line a little bit more sure of than the defensive line, but I think that's what I got there. And the fact that they can rotate. The rotating of your offensive line is so big for the future. Well, I don't think many people, because no one ever watches the offensive line. You watch the football. But if you're able to rotate your offensive line and have one guy do one, now granted, unless you're like the Cooper Beebes of the world, you're going to play every time. But if you can get some other O-lineman reps, and then that's good for next year. So that's kind of what I gathered there.
You know, there will be a lot made about Kansas's skill guys, and rightfully so, because Jalen Daniels is the preseason offensive player of the year, and Devin Neal returns after a terrific season last year. And Kansas has built a really good stable of receivers. But for so long, when Kansas was at the bottom of this conference, a big part of the reason why they were at the bottom of the conference was they weren't big enough or good enough in the trenches. Flat out. They were getting overwhelmed in the trenches by bigger teams, stronger teams, faster teams. And if you're not competitive in the trenches, it doesn't matter how good your skill guys are. You're not going to be a competitive football team. So I think the excitement that I have for Kansas football this year, obviously, again, the skill guys are going to be a whole lot of fun to watch. But I think they're going to be well protected up front by this offensive line, which I think has a chance to be a top half unit in the 14-team Big 12. I think it has a chance to be one of the better groups in this league and give Jalen Daniels more time to throw. So he has to scramble less, pocket breaks down less. He's running less because he's scrambling less. I think that's a big asset potentially for Kansas. Obviously, big holes for Devin Neal, Daniel Highshaw and company to run through. That's an asset. So it is interesting to hear him talk, not just his first 5 being solid, but he feels like they've got maybe 8, maybe even 9 guys that he feels very comfortable putting on the field and having take snaps against Big 12 competition. That is a major departure from what it's been for Kansas up front over the last few years. So just another reason for optimism in Lawrence is they're going to be good up front on offense in a way that they haven't been in quite some time.
And we are going to bring up that Kenny Logan is a Swiftie.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I wondered, did he go to the concert?
I don't know if there's enough NIL money to afford a Taylor Swift ticket.
All I know is apparently I have a lot of friends who can afford Taylor Swift tickets. And if that's the case...
can I hold 20?
Well, no, they need to dress better because I saw so many on social media and all that kind of stuff, the Snapgrams and the Instabooks and all that kind of stuff.
Come on, Jake, you're hipper than that.
Man, I just turned 39, all right? So let's be real. So many people went to the Taylor Swift show. I'm like, hey, either one, you got into the queue really early, or you're willing to throw down a couple of, G's to go watch this show. So you need to dress better.
At some point, liking Taylor Swift's music became a personality. Not a personality trait, like a personality for a certain cohort of people roughly our age, maybe a little bit younger. And I get it. She's 33. So there's a lot of women around my wife's age and younger who literally grew up as Taylor Swift was growing up. So I get why her music means something to people. But yeah, it has gone from, oh, I like her music to this is my whole personality. And you know what? I can't knock it because liking a sports team is basically my whole personality too. So I get it. I'm not here to make fun. I'm not here to judge, but that definitely happened.
So Kenny Logan, what do you suppose his favorite Taylor Swift song is? We're going to ask for
Bad Blood.
Top 3. I need the top 3 on what is the. That's hysterical. That also shows you the relationship.
By the way, that's just my guess for his answer.
That he heard
the remix with Kendrick Lamar. That was his get in. That was the gateway drug to the rest of Taylor's catalog. That's going to be my guess.
I think that shows also the personality. Kenny Logan they've mentioned that Kenny Logan and Lance Leipold are tight. That. And I think that just goes to show you the connection that he's got with his players. I think that's great. We're going to talk about Brett Yormark and his comments and no comments of his little press conference. We'll get to all of that. Lots more. Everyone loves the list. Ranking of mascots. That's all coming up here from Jerry World from the Big 12 Football Media Days.
FM 104.9.
Welcome back into Big 12 Football Media Days here on Mic'd Up. Jake Levon along with Dan Lucero hitting right inside the goal line here at AT&T Stadium. You made the fun joke.
Unlike Kendra Miller last year in the
Yes.
Big 12 championship game, we are across the plane. We are in the goal line. We are in the end zone here at AT&T Stadium. I think we're going to have some company here to
Yeah.
start this 1 o'clock hour.
It looks like we do have some company. In fact, we've got Kenny Logan joining us here live from Big 12 Radio Row. And Kenny, I got to tell you this right now. You are not ready for this first question I'm going to ask you. You are not. And your coach, we talked with Coach Lance Leipold earlier today, all right? And he mentioned something about you that I'm not going to lie to you, I was not prepared for.
Yeah.
And so I was first question. I asked him, who chooses the music for practice? And he says, we have some players, and all that. And then he mentions, he goes, well, Kenny Logan would be having some Taylor Swift on there.
Thanks.
And I said, okay. And I go, I did not picture him a Swiftie. I'm not going to lie to you. My wife wanted to go to the concert. One, are you a Swiftie?
Facts.
Facts. Okay. Two, did you go to the concert?
No, I was trying to find some tickets. I kind of asked a little too late, so it was hard finding them. I wish I could have found some, but yeah, I'm definitely a Swiftie.
So now we got to get into this. My wife was the same way. She was like, hey, can we go? Can we go? I go, I don't know if you've looked at these ticket prices, though.
Yeah.
You got $1,100 lying around that we don't know, that I don't know about. And she's like, no. So I get it. I sympathize.
Yes, sir.
I'd want to go to the concert.
Yes, sir.
A lot of my friends apparently have more money than I realized because they went to the show. And they said it was awesome. They said it was fantastic. So you being a Swiftie, give me your top 3 Taylor Swift songs.
22. I don't know the exact names of all of them.
Okay.
That's fair.
That's fair.
I don't know the exact names of all of them, but once you play the song, I can sing word for word. But I don't know 22 because I turned 22 last year. So
Okay.
I made sure they paid it at practice for me. We had it rocking out there. So yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what do you like about her music? Like, I'm not gonna that's just I not many college football guys, are listening to, Tim McGraw.
See me, I listen to really everything. So I turn on some Billy, I turn on Taylor. I listen to really anybody because I like to be calm before game, so I'll just turn that on the way
Wait
there.
a minute. This is pregame.
Pregame. I'm turning on some Billie Eilish or some Taylor pregame.
You're listening to.
She's in a.
Like you're listening to that.
Yeah, calm music. I like to be calm. I don't need all the extra hype because that's just me naturally.
Okay.
If I heard "Bury a Friend" by Billie Eilish in my headphones for a game, I'd be ready to take somebody's head off over the middle.
So
that's not that calm.
We got Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish. What else are we rocking before you run out of the tunnel?
I listen to some Lil Wayne. I gotta listen to Mr. Carter right before I go out though.
Oh, old school. That's my age.
Yeah, I gotta listen. That's my last song. I throw my towel on my head, sit in front of my locker. That's my last song. But
that's what I used to listen to back in like 03. That's a throwback.
Yeah,
I didn't
throwback.
know. Look at that. You're current. You're past.
Yeah, I just like to let it flow. I like to let it flow. So on the way there, I turn my headphones on, I take a nap. My Coach Sleeve doesn't like that, but I take a nice little nap. He kind of taps on my seat. Hey, get up.
But when you go out there, it's full go. You know, you got to conserve it. I never understood the people who would be out pregame. Let's say games at 1:00. They're out there running at like 9:00. I'm like, how are you going to have that much energy till that long?
Okay, so when we get there, say we got a 11:00 game, we might arrive at 8. I'm gonna go get dressed. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna do some light stretching. I'm gonna take me a lap, do some breaks, and then I'm gonna go inside for a little bit, chill. Then I might come back out, get one more stretch in, just keep my pregame routine, and I'm gonna take him in and rest for the rest of the day.
And so you ready to go, and then it's
lights on, it's lights, camera, action.
It's a different beast.
Yeah, it's a different animal. He got a different look in his eye.
We're talking with Kenny Logan, the star safety for the Kansas Jayhawks. I'm gonna stay with Coach Leipold. After he kind of threw you under the bus, I thought to myself, that must be your relationship. You must have a great relationship with Coach Leipold. We know what he's like. He's not a fancy guy. He's kind of blasé, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But every one of you guys seems to just absolutely love this guy. Tell me something about Coach Leipold that we don't know about that the fans need to.
Oh, he really likes to clown a lot. So he keeps when he's in professional state, he keeps all that. But like here and there, like I might joke on him 1 second and walk off from him during practice, and that joke hasn't slipped his mind. So he's coming back later, say it's period 15 or something like that. You said it when you first got on the field. He's coming back later with a joke, and then he's gonna walk off and do his little walk. So he's not gonna forget anything.
No, nobody would probably expect that though.
No, nobody.
Like the fan base, you know, he's a very meat and potatoes type of guy.
Yeah, I'm the guy when he first got here. When I first met him, I'm gonna pinch and poke and just bring it out of you. So I always say I'm the reason that he smiles now. Because when he first got here, he didn't really do too much smiling. But when he first got here, I used to always tell him, like, Coach, smile. But now he walks around, he hangs out, but he makes sure everything gets done.
And is this kind of the reason you came back, you know, for this year, for your COVID year, because of Coach Leipold and because of this KU program?
Yeah, of course. I feel like it was still some stuff that I needed to accomplish as a player, a person, just grow up mentally and physically. But then again, just being under this great program, being under the Coach Leipold, having the chance to really help this program take another step. And then and going in the right direction. I talked with Coach Leipold about some of the things I was hearing with the next level, and he gave me his greatest feedback. So I took what he said into consideration and just made sure I was taking the right steps for me and then for this team.
We're talking with Kenny Logan, safety for the Kansas Jayhawks, live from Big 12 Media Days here in Arlington at AT&T Stadium on Mic'd Up here on 580 WIBW. Kenny, going into this season, you know, defensively, you want to take a big step forward as a group this year. What things need to happen for that step forward collectively to be taken?
We just got to make sure we execute at a high level, doing everything in our power to make sure we stop the run. And then in the pass game, we get the ball out of the air when it's in there. We got some guys that came in like Devin Phillips. We got guys like Gage Keys, Austin Booker. And then the guys up front that we already had just mixing together and then gelling together to become one. I feel like all those guys that came in, they're helping us take the proper steps and to go in the right direction. The whole back seven's back, so I'm excited for that. Excited for us to go out there and compete at a high level. But it's just making sure we're hitting on all cylinders. We're doing all the little things in practice. So when we go out there on Saturdays and stuff like that, and well, this year, a few Fridays, that we're executing at a high level and we're hitting on all cylinders and complementing our offense.
People know, obviously, how good Jalen Daniels is.
Yes.
He's the preseason conference player of the year. And people know how good Devin Neal is because he's preseason first-team all-conference. The wide receiver, tight end, the pass catcher group you guys have back. You guys go up against them in practice every day.
Yeah.
Give us a feeling. How good is that group? How talented are these guys?
That group is really they fly under the radar. They're a really great group. You have guys like Machen Fairchild, the real guy Jerry Casey. Then you have the whole receiver core that's just going to give you different flavors of receivers. You got physical guys, you got jump ball guys, you got speed guys, then you got technical guys. So every day you get challenged by those guys, and they're great. They're awesome to go against. They keep me on my toes. So you just got to make sure you're doing everything in your power. But that's a group that goes kind of unnoticed that I wish, but they're going to do everything in their power to make sure they get noticed this year.
You got a bunch of those guys back, and as you mentioned, a bunch of your guys in the secondary back as well. How much better do you think you guys make each other going up against each other in practice every day?
Way better. Because it's like Muhammad Ali versus Muhammad Ali. So we swinging every day. I'm making sure I'm talking to Jalen while he's taking his pre-snap reads, and just making sure we're just trying to make each other better and just trying to make sure the environment is hostile, but it's a great environment that you can learn and develop in.
We're talking with Kenny Logan, the Swifty, also really good safety for the Kansas Jayhawks here on Mic'd Up here at Big 12 Football Media Days. And I got to ask, we're rocking a little K1 here.
Yes,
explain the bling that we got here. That's nice.
Yes, sir. This is a little custom piece. Came from Mo Frost. I decided I was ready to go get. And then you got the Logan Jr. on the bottom to make sure it's custom. There's a lot of K1s out there. So I just had to make sure I add my little signature at the bottom. So, You
mentioned talking trash out there. I've never met a DB who didn't like to talk trash.
Yeah.
Are you the head guy, or give me somebody who claps back at you? There's always at least one or two on the offensive side. Sometimes it's the quarterback. An O-lineman back on when I was playing, he really liked to talk. That was a lot of fun. And the DB wanted nothing to do with the offensive lineman because, they're a lot bigger. But I got to know, who do you get in a little jarring match with?
See, me, I clap at anybody. The old lineman clap back at me, and I clap at them. I kind of walk and poke my chest out to those guys. I know what's going to happen to their old lineman, but I would say guys like L.J. Arnold. Then you got Jalen, of course. Jalen's going to clap back every time, or he's going to give you a look and just do his thing. But Jalen's scared of me. So if y'all have an interview with Jalen Daniels, let him know I say he's pretty scared of me in practice.
Okay. Is there anything that we should know about Jalen Daniels, the way that your head coach kind of told us that you're a Swiftie?
I would say apple juice. Ask him about his apple juice. Like, what's your favorite juice to drink? Just ask him about apple juice.
Apple juice.
Apple juice. He's a huge apple juice guy.
Really?
Yes.
Hey, I'm going to need him to rank apple juices for me because I guarantee you
he's going to know him. He's going to know him.
You got a couple new guys on the schedule now.
Yes, sir.
Excited about playing those guys? That it's new, it's different. Do you know much about them? When you're playing the Cincinnati's, the UCFs and the BYUs, does that interest you guys at all, or is that that's not a huge deal?
I mean, going into it, we're happy to welcome everybody. It's definitely different challenges, it's definitely different environments you're going in. The UCF and the UCF, I got recruited by them. So, and I'm from Florida, so I know a little bit about UCF. The BYU's and Cincinnati's, it's all new to me, but I'm excited to play all those guys.
You're gonna play on a couple Fridays. Are you
back to back?
Yay Fridays? Don't like Fridays?
That take me to my my prime days of high school.
Yeah,
so
and that's what I'm wondering because Friday is the high school days.
Yes,
that's a huge in Florida, obviously. Yeah. Maybe not quite the same level in the state of Kansas as it was in Florida. But I'm not a huge fan of Friday games. I'm not going to lie to you, Kenny. Doesn't matter? Strap it up whenever.
Oh no, yeah, we can play on Monday if we wanted to. Friday night lights, I feel like, so it gives me the chance to kind of go back into my high school swagger and just go out there and have fun. I look for the excitement in anything.
All righty. We always ask a couple random questions to each of the players here. You've got 4 new teams coming into the conference. I'm a fan of UCF, BYU, Cincinnati, and Houston. Kenny Logan, where do I need to go? Where do I need to go in Lawrence? What do I need to do in Lawrence if I'm going to come to the Jayhawks? Because I don't know if you know this, but you play at home against BYU and UCF.
Yes.
So what do you tell them? Like, hey, you need to hit this spot up, this spot up, this spot up. Well, what are you tour guide Kenny right now?
Okay, tour guide Kenny. What are the circumstances for it? What are you exactly looking for?
I know this is open-ended.
Okay.
Hey, Kenny, this is Steve from Central Florida. I'm here in Orlando. I'm coming up to see you play in Lawrence. What do I got to do?
Look for a good meal and a good time. How about that?
Okay, I would say a good meal. I like to go to the Jefferson's. It's like a wing spot. Got all variations of food there. And then you want to go for a good time, I would say after the game or something like that, you take a trip to probably Logan's, right there on Mad Street to go have a good time and enjoy yourself.
And then lastly, name, image, and likeness,
Yes,
right? How was that in the locker room? That's probably the one question that we get asked a lot via our text line and everything. Does it fracture a locker room? How does that work? How does that dynamic work?
I would say the biggest thing with Coach Lipo, because he was focused on that, it's just making sure that everybody kind of knows, like, when you're going into this, it's going to be different for different guys just because that's how it is. But, like, just making sure that your team is already structured and built up to where, like, something small like that is not going to detour or affect what you have going on. Like, once you already built this strong foundation that we continue to harp on every day, something like that is not going to come in the locker room and tear us up, because we all, at the end of the day, have one objective goal, and that's just to make it to a championship.
Alrighty. Is that a clip-on bow tie, or is that a legit bow tie?
Oh, this clip-on. I can't tie a bow tie. I can't tie a tie.
I tried to do the legit bow tie.
No chance.
Man, I had to YouTube that. I just said, finally forget it. I put on a regular tie.
Coach said he tried to do it when he was going to the Derby a few weeks ago, and he was like, nah, never mind.
Respect that.
Kenny, we appreciate the time, my friend. Love the suit, love the tie, love the K1, love your excitement for this upcoming season. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you for having me.
That is Kenny Logan, the Swiftie. Loves Taylor Swift. I like that. Hey, look, I like Taylor Swift as well. Kenny, we appreciate it. Looking sharp in his suit. Always fun to run down plenty of apple juice. Now, there we go.
Yeah, we're gonna play it's gonna be like a little game of telephone. We're gonna every player we gotta get a little dirt on them so that we can do a little investigative reporting here at Big 12 Media Days. Man, what a personality! I mean, we spent good 10-15 minutes with Kenny Logan. I'm a huge Kenny Logan fan.
Yes.
Now. Like, how can you not be?
Yeah.
The personality, the energy is just absolutely contagious.
And that is how I know if that guy right there, Kenny Logan, is in your locker room, name, image, and like this isn't going to be a big deal. Oh, well, so-and-so makes so much money. So-and-so does this. What's going to happen? If you've got guys like Kenny Logan who are your team leaders, you don't have to worry about that because he is going to set it straight. Lance Leipold, Kenny Logan will be a captain, came back 5th year. I think Kenny Logan's got an NFL future. I do too. If not, he's going to be on a roster because, one, if you are that big and that physical and you're able, if you're 6 foot, 200 pounds and you want to hit people, congratulations, that's an NFL guy.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, I believe he was picked by Phil Steele, just to hold on just a second. First team. Phil Steele, first team preseason all Big 12 defense, along with his teammate Kobe Bryant. So, coming back and getting some really good advice from Lance Leipold, that tells you a lot, I think. So, love the fact that you can have fun with it, have fun with your coach. I totally forgot Lance Leipold went to the Derby.
Yeah.
I should have asked him, did you enjoy the Derby? Was he on the infield? I was on the infield. I'm telling you, man, the infield is a wild time. I'm feeling like Leipold's in a different tax bracket than we are, and he able to do a lot of different things. So you got a few of the Jayhawks walking around, and maybe we can try to grab another. We got Devin Neal and Kenny Logan. So
Jalen Daniels.
Jalen Daniels. And so if we can try to give him, or we can get him later, we can talk to Kenny or Jalen Daniels or Devin Neal here if you want to swing on by. You never know what's going to happen.
No, you really don't. You're just kind of playing it by ear here. We're going to get Jalen Daniels here to the table.
All righty, Jalen. First question that we are going to ask you. All righty. I'm not going to tell you who told us this because I don't know. I don't want to cause a problem between you two, but give me your favorite apple juice.
Hey, man, who told you about my apple juice?
I said I'm not going to reveal my sources. I just heard.
Good journalists never reveal their sources.
I was told from somebody that you're a big apple juice guy, so I got to know what kind of apple juice. Are we walking with the apple juice with the characters on them, Because my kids really like that. They're big into Spider-Man and stuff.
Man, look, bro. Look, man. I'm a big Mott's apple juice guy.
Okay.
But look, though, I wasn't a big apple juice guy until, You feel me? That was the only juice that we had in the facility. So it was like a Gatorade Zero, protein shake, water, Propel water, or apple juice and orange juice. But like, if it's the middle of the day, if it's 2 p.m., I'm not gonna drink no orange juice.
No, I'm with you.
Apple juice 24/7.
It's
Orange
good.
Orange juice.
Good at any time of day.
Exactly. Very, very convenient as well.
Alrighty, take me through kind of last year. What a season. Now you're preseason offensive player of the year. Surprised at that? Or you know what? Hey, I'm ready for all those expectations.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like it's more so just, I'm glad that Kansas football is starting to finally get this notoriety and this recognition, especially being able to finally get this type of respect at the Big 12 level. Because, for so long, Kansas football has been the joke of this, the joke of that. And now it's no longer Kansas football being the joke of stuff. Now we have all these guys who are preseason first team preseason first team all conference. And, that just gives us confidence as a team. The little stuff that we were doing this time last year where we had no notoriety, you didn't know if it was going to work or not. But now we seen what we were able to do at the beginning of the season. Now this season we're focusing on ending the season. It's not about how you start, but more so about how you finish.
The big question that we get a lot, and I get asked about KU football and that is, one, Jalen Daniels is an electric athlete, can throw it, can run it. But there's a reason why they tell Patrick Mahomes to slide all the damn time. We don't need you hurt.
Yeah.
So how do you don't ever – I'd rather have to throttle guy back, throttle him back than to speed him up. Mm-hmm. So what – and we asked Coach Leipold this about you. It's like, hey, you're so valuable that we need you there, but you're so good at playmaking and they don't want to take necessary hits. So how do you, as the quarterback, make sure that, hey, you know what, that extra yard – might not be worth it if I can't get back on the field when it comes to that, because everybody is going after you.
Yeah, definitely.
So how do you handle that?
Yeah, I mean, my whole life being the quarterback, you're not really necessarily worried about taking too many hits or any of that, especially when you're growing up in high school. Because at the end of the day, you're just going out there playing fun, trying to make plays. So, when you get to college, now it's more so about how you think of the game, how you process everything, how fast everything's moving very fast, and you have to be able to calculate it like you were in the film room the yesterday. So for me, I just have to realize that, play my game and don't allow myself to be able to, don't try to not play my game. Don't try to play scared. Don't try to play not to get hurt, because at the end of the day, you're missing out on plays on that way. But you'll know when, all right, I'm doing too much, I'm taking too many hits. Like, honestly, last year at the beginning of the season, I just felt indestructible. Like, my teammates were telling me, you're taking too many hits, chill, stop taking that hit. But for me, I was like, all right,
I'm balling.
Yeah, I took that hit, and now he feels it. Like, he felt that hit more than I did. And I had to realize that it's no longer about just trying to make the highlight plays and trying to, do all this and all that. I have to think of it. I have to think of the long game, think of the long run. The game is 12 guaranteed games to play. 13 if you can make it to that bowl game, be blessed to be able to be there. So I have to think long, big picture rather than just the beginning. Like I said, it's all about how you finish, not about how you start.
Jalen Daniels is our guest, quarterback of the Kansas Jayhawks, here live at Big 12 Media Days here on Mic'd Up. Jalen, you've got a deep returning cast of pass catchers, wide receivers, tight ends. Tell us a little about that group. What do they offer? What do they offer you as a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, we have an offense, a stable of guys who can make plays with the ball in their hands, can make plays on the ball if the ball's in the air. So, with Coach K, he likes to put a big emphasis on being able to distribute the ball to our different ball players. I mean, like we said, we have a lot of guys who can make plays with the ball in their hands. And, last year I feel like was a testament to show that we're able to spread the ball to all these different players. It's not like we just have all these guys in the stable and they'll get their chance when it comes. No, we try our best to be able to distribute the ball to everybody.
All righty. We Coach Leipold, I'm going to reveal my source because we're going to do this for radio. Coach Leipold threw your trash talking safety, Kenny Logan, under the bus because he told us Kenny Logan's a Swiftie. Found that out. Loves Taylor Swift. I'm going to lie to you. Kenny Logan told us you liked apple juice. So now we have a chance to talk with Devin Neal, and we got Kobe Bryant here. Okay, give me something that I can ask them.
Devin Neal. Devin Neal.
Here's your chance to kind of semi throw him under the bus.
I got you. Ask him. All right. I know exactly what you should ask him. So he forgot his shoes on the way here.
Perfect.
He had to go.
Perfect.
He had to go get some shoes.
I'm gonna be like,
yesterday.
man, those shoes are really nice.
Where
man.
did you
This is perfect. This is perfect. Oh, this is awesome.
He had to go get those shoes yesterday.
All right,
so we got
last
here.
thing we got for you is this. You know about the Netflix series Quarterback, right? Have you seen that at all?
I have not.
Where they follow Patrick Mahomes around for the entire last year.
I actually
It's
did not see
it's
that.
a documentary. So being a quarterback, I was wondering if you heard about that and if you would watch that, knowing Patrick Mahomes is, the guy right in your backyard. But yeah, it came out today, and
Okay.
it follows in the entire year last year, and it's like in depth and how he breaks things down and all of that. Who's a quarterback that you kind of emulate?
I wouldn't say I emulate myself behind anybody because, I grew up liking a lot of different quarterbacks. So I like to take little things from different quarterbacks and see what they do to be able to put it into my game.
Okay.
But growing up, I've been a big Packers fan growing up. I was a big Aaron Rodgers guy growing up. And, once Lamar Jackson got that Lamar Jackson at Louisville Cardinals, it kind of, all right, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers. And then we have guys that I'm growing up with. Now we have Bryce Young, CJ Strouds of the world, showing what they were able to do in high school, same grade as me. So now I'm just picking apart little stuff from college players, NFL players. What do they do so good? What can I add to my game? What can I add to my repertoire?
Well, we appreciate the time. Best of luck this upcoming year, Jalen.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That is Jalen Daniels, the quarterback of the Kansas Jayhawks. Coming up next, we'll get a little update, and then we'll get to Everyone Loves the List here on Mic'd Up from Big 12 Football Media Days.
W Topeka FM 104.9.
You just made the list.
Top 3,
Top 10, top 5. You just made the list.
Alrighty, everyone loves a list on a Big 12 Football Media Day Wednesday, and because it's live radio and you never know what's going to end up happening, we had two people just plop on down, so we're going to talk to him because you never know what's going to end up happening.
So we're not going to talk to Jalen Daniels.
Yeah, we're not going to not find out that he loves apple juice.
Mott's.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree with that. You can't have apple juice, or you can't have orange juice at like 4 p.m.
Nah, that's borderline psychotic.
Yeah. You can't do that. So
if I see somebody pouring themselves a tall glass of orange juice like 2:35 in the afternoon, I'm calling the police.
Yeah, even if you throw in some vodka in that thing and make it a screwdriver, that's still, you know what you do then?
Still morning drink.
No, what you do in the afternoon is turn that OJ into lemonade. Then you got a vodka lemonade. That's what we're talking about.
And those are good at any hour of the day. Lemonade, as my usual co-host Brendan Dworzinski will tell you, good any hour of the day.
That's fantastic. All right, everyone loves the list. Not all, but majority of the mascots are here today. And so we are going to rank our Big 12 mascots. That is Everyone Loves the List today. Now, do they have to be here, Dan?
No, they can just be in general.
They can just be in general. All right.
I don't know who isn't here. I think I
haven't seen Jay.
Okay, I saw Baby Jay.
Oh, you did? I hadn't seen
Baby Jay's here.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think I saw Raider Red. But I think I've seen every other mascot.
I saw Raider Red.
Did you see Raider
Yeah,
Red?
Raider
Okay,
Red, Raider Red's
I
here.
hadn't seen Raider Red.
Yeah.
Shasta came by the table.
Yeah.
There's
there's Baby J. Okay, we're good.
The
We're good.
mascot for University of Houston, Shasta is his name.
Okay.
Shasta and Cosmo, who is the
That's the Spider-Man
BYU mascot.
Cougar.
Yes, they've been making friends because they're both Cougars and they're both new to the college.
I wonder if they're related.
They might be like, well, they are now.
Yeah, they are now. Big 12.
Also, Cosmo and Shasta sounds like a buddy cop show that would have been on Fox in like 1992.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Cosmo and Shasta, and then an all-new Beverly Hills 90210.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, what do you got? What's number 4?
Number 4 for me. Okay, I am purposely not going to rank Kansas or Kansas State because I don't want to rank one above the other because I am going to continue to try and play Switzerland in our in-state rivalry. I don't want any evidence against me that I like one mascot better than the other. I think they're both great. I love all mascots. It's very hard for me to rank mascots because I love them all. I think they're all perfect in every way. Anyhow, number 4 for me, I'm going to go with Shasta, because he's my new pal.
Okay.
Shasta came by the table. I welcomed him to the Big 12. He posed for a picture. He was very nice. Shasta, it was very nice. I don't know if Shasta is gendered. I shouldn't assume. Shasta, number 4 on my list.
All righty. They've got 2, but I went with the cooler one. Although Raider Red is pretty cool. I do like Raider Red. But it's the Masked Rider of Tech.
Okay.
I like the Masked Rider.
Okay.
I like the real mascots. And I'm not rating KU and K-State on my list because they're not in my top 4. Plain and simple.
Wow, rude.
Yeah, sorry. So I
I
went
haven't seen
with
the Baylor Bear, actually, come to think of it.
I am going to go with the Masked Rider.
Okay.
Texas Tech's guy.
All right. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Mountaineer.
Okay.
West Virginia's guy. I think he has some real life survival skills. I think he would help me out a great deal if I caught myself in a spot of trouble. For one, he has a gun. For 2, I think he would know how to survive in the wild, which is a very useful skill. Yeah. So the Mountaineer, number 3 on my list.
Can I go Bevo?
I mean, I thought we were just doing like the mascot.
That's what I was wondering. That's why I asked you. I was like, can I do? So if that's the case, then it's Raider Red.
Okay.
So I'd go with Raider Red over the Masked Rider.
Okay.
But that's why I didn't know. Like, if we're just doing the ones here, I would go Raider Red. And then I went with Bevo because I like Bevo.
Okay.
I think Longhorn's cool. The fact that Bevo tried to take out who did he try to take out that one bowl game? Was it the Bulldog?
Yes.
Was it?
Yes, that was very mean.
No, it was hilarious.
No, it was mean. He didn't mean to a dog.
No, but like the fact that
like the whole thing.
Yeah. Like, oh, you brought another animal up next to a gigantic longhorn? Yeah, they're not going to be simpatico. Like, come on. So if I got to quick make an adjustment here. Whoa, the Bearcat
is aggressive. The Bearcat's in like warm-up apparel. Like, he's not in his game day stuff. He's in like a Cincinnati t-shirt and shorts. It's like he's about to go play intramural basketball.
Yeah. Let's go with. Gosh.
What is the Bearcat's name?
You know what? I like Boomer, the horse. Or is that Sooner? I don't know.
No, it's Boomer.
It's Boomer.
Yeah,
let's go Boomer. I'll go Boomer at number 3.
All right. For number 2 for me, Super Frog. Super Frog.
Okay.
Unique, the horned frog. The wrists are very big, very strong.
Yep.
And also pointy. Yeah, we'll go Super Frog number 2.
All righty. Number 2 for me is the Mountaineer. How do you not like the I like live mascots. This is what I've been saying. Washburn needs to just forget the Ichabod getup that they got on there and just turn him into the Mountaineer.
Sure,
like make him live. Yeah. Have him dress up with the coattails, the book, the top hat. Make it and give him a scholarship. Like, it should be a big deal to be the Ichabod. You know what I mean? That's where if I could change something for my alma mater, like what they got for the Mountaineer, really, really cool. Great mascot.
By the way, the Cincinnati Bearcats name is the Bearcat.
That's lame.
So that's the Bearcat.
That's lame.
Number 1 on my list is Nitro, the
Okay.
UCF mascot. He's cool. He's shiny. Like the get up is shiny. He's got a sword.
All right. I haven't seen him, but it's Pistol Pete.
Oh, Pistol Pete's here.
Pistol Pete, man.
He's here.
He's here with his big giant. I mean, he's kind of scary looking.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know what I mean? But Pistol Pete, like,
but he's versatile. Like, have you seen like all like the pictures of him, like the different logos?
The best
Pistol
logo.
Pete can play golf. Pistol Pete can judge meat.
That's the best one is Golf Pistol Pete because he's got like a big accented follow through. But no, it's Pistol Pete, man. Pistol Pete. I don't know if he's got his 6 shooters with him, but Pistol Pete, man. Pistol Pete's terrific. I love Pistol Pete. That's my number one. So that is our everyone loves the list when it comes to mascots here from Big 12 football media days as players in kind of walking around doing some live radio TV. We do know that Lance Leipold is going to go to the press conference.
Yeah, he's next up on the podium after.
Are they going to have him sit down like they did Brett Yormark, or is he going to stand up next to the podium?
I think the coaches have been No, I don't know. I don't know if they'll get to sit or if they stand at the podium. Now, Yormark, when he delivered his opening remarks, he was pacing. He had like CEO energy up there.
Oh, yeah.
He was moving around. He had the lapel mic going.
No, he's
got a lot of movement, a lot of energy.
He's got that, you know. I'm not a college guy vibe, right? Like, he's a suit. And I get that from Brett Yormark. I really, really do. And every time someone asks him a question, thank you for being here. How are you doing? You know, it's like a power move, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's all about the power moves. I can definitely see that. Well, we will hopefully hear from Devin Neal, and we will hear from Kobe Bryant coming up in the 2 o'clock hour. We got a lot more coming up on on 580 Sports Talk. Some of the KU players will swing on by. Tomorrow will be the K-State contingent, and we will try to get a hold of Will Howard. We'll try to talk with Cooper Beebe. Anytime you can talk to an O-lineman, I'm going to talk to an O-lineman. Excited to talk to Cooper Beebe, Daniel Green, Kobe Savage. We'll try to get in touch with Gene Taylor, the athletic director for Kansas State. So we'll get to all of that coming up tomorrow here on Big 12 Football Media Days here in Arlington and Dallas, Texas. There's a lot more people here this time.
Yeah, well, 4 new schools will do that. Yeah. But I do think that there is an increased presence even from the 12 previous member schools.
Yes.
Radio Row is more substantial than I can remember it being ever. And, I mean, we are one end of the end zone to the other, 2 rows deep. And that is that's new. Like that's there does seem to be increased attention, increased energy around here. It's pretty cool. I haven't even gotten my beef jerky yet from the Old Trapper folks. I hope they don't run out.
Well, they'll replenish for tomorrow.
I hope so.
I just know that I need to get some beef jerky for Fulton. I failed last year. Not giving Fulton a little bit of the beef jerky. So I got to find some beef jerky when it comes to that. We'll get a quick time out. We'll wrap up this 1 o'clock hour. We will get to Brett Yormark's comments. Some of them I think very, very interesting, trying to lay low. Also the worst kept secret in the Big 12. We will get to all of that coming up in the 2 o'clock hour, and who knows who stops by here from Big 12 Football Media Days here in Arlington at AT&T Stadium. Welcome back into Big 12 football media days here in Arlington, AT&T Stadium for Mic'd Up. Jake LeBon along with Dan Lucero here at Radio Row, where K-State celebrated. Dan, you were here. Where were you at? You were here when they
Behind
won.
you. Yeah. So we're in, I don't know which end zone this is.
I think we're in the north end zone.
It's the one with the Miller Lite logo as opposed to the one with the Dr. Pepper logo.
Yeah,
anyhow,
forward.
the press box is up in the corner there, right
Yep.
behind us, right over our left shoulders. It is a massive press box.
Okay, so
but it's in the corner, which is weird. It's a different vantage point than you typically get.
This the end zone that they kicked the field goal
Yes, it was.
through?
Yes, this is the very same.
Shawnee Heights legend.
This is
kicking the field goal.
That's exactly right. These are the uprights right behind us that Tyler Zentner split with that kick. This is the end zone that Kendre Miller did not get into on 3rd or 4th down and goal from the 1.
Did you
very same?
Did you see Pete Thamel this is how big Kansas State is getting when it comes to their expectations. Pete Thamel of ESPN.com, one of their main writers, put out there that can K-State do it again? I mean, they're talking that's a big deal right now.
Yeah.
So just a completely different situation there. If you go to ESPN.com, the second picture, of course, the number one story is going to be Pat Fitzgerald and the disaster that's happening up there in Evanston. But the next one is K-State has a chip on its shoulder. College football's quietest conference champion. And that's what's happening right now in the Big 12. It's Kansas State. That's pretty cool. You know, outside of early Bill Snyder, you know, when they were mowing dudes down in the mid 90s, late 90s, you didn't get kind of this type of coverage. So I think this is great for Kansas State when it comes to that, but that was interesting there. The other thing, we talked with Houston AD, Chris Pesman, almost combined him there. But we talked with Houston AD, Chris Pesman, played for Houston. Wanted to talk with one of the newbies, right?
Yeah.
Just how excited you are. And that guy, if you put a picture next to the word excited in the definition, it would be that guy. And the other thing, too, is just how dramatically different joining this conference is going to be. If we have time to air that interview, maybe we will at the bottom of the 2 o'clock hour. But when he brought up the fact that when they were in Conference USA, they got $1 million from their TV deal. That's it. And then they went to the American. And now you're at the American. And they got $7 million. They're going to get a half a share this coming year, a half a share in 24, and then a full share in 25. You went from making $7 million a year to then going and getting $20 million. Right then and there, that's a $13 million increase. And then you get another $20 million, and then all of a sudden in 25 you're getting 50. So in 2 years you went from $7 million a year that you're going to get to 50. You want to talk about what? And that's why I want to ask, like, do you have a plan for this? Like, you got to know, like, this is guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Like, how many businesses, how many people, how many just? It's like they inherited $50 million from like their great uncle, and they knew they were going to get it. Like their great uncle was like, "Hey, you know what, Dan? When I'm gone, here's $50 million," and you know what's happening. Like, it's incredible. It really is on what they're going to be able to do.
And Houston's perspective is unique among the schools that are joining the league in that they played big-time college football once upon a time at Houston. The Southwest Conference was a big deal conference. It was a big boy conference. You had Texas, you had Arkansas, you had SMU, you had A&M, you had Texas Tech, you had Houston. Like, teams won national championships from the Southwest Conference. Teams won Heisman Trophy winners in the Southwest Conference. It was big-time football. And when the Southwestern Conference broke up, those schools all went one direction or another. A lot of them were fortunate. They got to join the Big 12. Obviously, Arkansas went to the SEC. SMU was, not far enough removed from the death penalty years that they ended up dropping out essentially of major college football. And that also happened to Houston. There was no real good reason for that other than Houston got left behind. So they ended up being in Conference USA for all these years. Then they're in the American for about a decade. And so now for Houston, for their fans, for their boosters, this is where they feel like they should have been all along, is playing big boy power college football. They're back as far as they're concerned. In a way, UCF can't say that. BYU can't really say that. They've never been in a power conference. And certainly Cincinnati can't say that.
I think the two that can really benefit the most are Houston and UCF. I think UCF with the athletes in Florida and what they're able to do in Florida, and now that you are going to be a seat at the table, I think those two, Houston is huge, and the amount of talent that is in Houston, and now you have a chance to play for Houston, play for your hometown. They're going to increase their facility. I mean, just think about it. Like, you're going to get an extra $45 million in 2 years that can just go to whatever the heck you want. That's incredible.
It's not too bad. That's a come up, as they say.
Incredible. So you're seeing a lot of excitement from at least the 4 new schools. We'll get to more Brett Yormark's comments. And I think Brendan was the one who tweeted this out, that we were they said, let's celebrate Oklahoma and Texas this year. I think that's what he said. No, absolutely not. No, that's like celebrating a divorce when you didn't want the divorce. Like, I don't want, like, Texas leaving, yeah, go. Oklahoma, no, kick rocks. Like, well, I don't mind celebrating. You chose to leave.
They did.
You did that. I'm not celebrating.
They chose to leave, but I don't mind the Big 12 taking the high road on that. Saying, hey, you contributed a lot to this conference.
No, they have to take the high road because of money purposes.
Yeah, I don't mind.
As Brett Yormark said, we got a swift exit strategy between Texas and Oklahoma. That was win-win. Look, that's business. All right, that's business. That's different. It's not personal, it's business, right? We're going with, you've got mail here, right? It's personal. It's not personal, it's business. I can make it personal. I'm not affiliated with the Big 12. No, Oklahoma and Texas can kick rocks.
Okay.
Adios. Bye. Don't care. Not going to miss you one bit. Texas, Oklahoma, I'm bummed at Oklahoma because Oklahoma's a Big 8, man. Yeah. I don't care any bit about Texas. But Oklahoma's in the Big 8.
I'm fine with that opinion on Texas. But yeah, Oklahoma's got a lot of history in this league, a lot of history with these schools.
Yeah.
You may as well take the high road, doesn't hurt anything.
You're a better man than me, Dan. I'm going to go ahead and say that. No, Oklahoma, enjoy it. Enjoy it. And if we do get a chance to talk with Brent Venables, I'm going to do nothing but talk about how Salina Central stomped Salina South when he was there.
All right.
Probably not.
You're going to make it personal. Clearly,
I'm all talk. That's all talk. Go Mustangs, though. Coming up, we will potentially hear from Coach Leipold. We'll hear from more about Brett Yormark's comments, and who knows what happens here from Jerry World here at Big 12 Football Media Days.
580 WIBW, Topeka, and FM 104.9.
Jake Laban along with Dan Lucero here at AT&T Stadium. Here on the goal line in the north end zone, this is where the Big 12 championship game will be played coming up on the first Saturday in December. It'll be specifically December 2nd. That is where every single team in the Big 12, all 14 of them, will be trying to get to here to Jerry World. We've had a lot of fun here these first 2 hours. We heard from head coach Lance Leipold. We've heard from the quarterback of the Kansas Jayhawks, Jalen Daniels. We have heard from the safety, Kenny Logan. We have talked to a lot of different folks. Brett Yormark's comments, we'll get to that coming up as well. So we got a lot to get to, and we got one more hour plus another 3 hours of 580 Sports Talk coming your way. We'll try to get a hold of Devin Neal, the Lawrence High product. That'll be coming up as well. But as always, hit us up on our text line. Let us know your thoughts. 785-272-9429 if you want to talk a little Big 12 football. And right now, we are going to welcome in Rich Miller joins us, the senior linebacker. He's a transfer from Buffalo. That is right. He is one that followed Lance Leipold to Kansas and to Lawrence. That's the first thing I got to talk to you, Rich. You obviously like the guy.
Yeah.
If you decide to, you're playing up there in Buffalo, and it's cold up there, and then you're like, I like the warmer weather, and I like my coach, I'm going to head to Lawrence. Why decide to follow Coach Leipold to Lawrence and become a Jayhawk?
Honestly, I feel like it was a great opportunity for me, and I felt like he believed in me. You know, it kind of gave me a sense of validation of, you know, he believed in me, and I'm like, you know, I can't turn that down. If you believe in me, all I need is someone to believe in me, and I'm going to make the best out of every single situation. And I always felt like I needed to take, like, some type of risk, and I knew what I was getting myself into. I knew I had to go help turn the team around. I knew I had to grow up fast. You know, like at Buffalo, I was a young guy who was just following all the older guys doing it right, you know, just waiting for my turn. But my turn came a lot quicker and in a different way than I could ever imagine. And I was just like, this is the time I have to take that chance. And I took the chance, and I feel like we've made the most of it. You know, we're doing a great job at turning this thing around, man. We're not done yet, but we've turned it around in a tremendous way, and it's only going to get better.
So how did that all go down? So all of a sudden, it's a unique situation, too.
Yeah.
You know, it was in May, you know, with all what happened, you know, at KU. I'm sure you've read about it. And then they go out and they get Lance Leipold, and you guys are at Buffalo going, what is happening right now? Did he come to you? Did you go to him? How did that go down to whereas, you know, he's leaving, you know, there's no spring practice for KU, but here you are going, I want to play for this guy. This is the guy. So how did that go down? Did you approach him and say, Coach, I'm following you, man. I don't care what you say.
Yeah. So I can kind of take you back to the exact day, man. Like when he gave us the news, man, we was in a workout. You know, they cut the workout short, and he was like, I'm leaving. And it came out of nowhere because no one knew. Like, no one knew we interviewed or anything. Like, no one knew. And it was like, wow. I was kind of upset. I was upset because I felt like as soon as my career was about to take off, he left. So I'm like, man, like, how can we make this better? And from there, I just worked out the rest of the week. You know, we had voluntary work as I worked out, and I went home. And I sat and thought about it for a minute, and I'm just like, man, maybe I should enter the transfer portal because I don't want to, you know, start over here with something that I don't know. How about let's just start over somewhere else? Maybe this is my, you know, sign to go somewhere else. So I just forget it. Let me hit the portal. Coach Leipold hit me up immediately.
He sent you that "you up" text.
I was like,
that's what went down.
I was like, wow, like it happened so fast because I guess. So, like, coaches get the notification of the portal before the public. So, everyone already knew. Like, I don't know how. Like, it was just random coaches following me. I'm like, I just told them, like, a few hours ago, and, like, random coaches following me everywhere. I'm like, this is crazy. So, he hit me. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not even talking to anyone else. You know, people are trying to tell me, like, don't do it. They suck. I'm like, man, that's not what I'm doing it for. Like, tell me that we suck while I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to show you that we can be great. We can do whatever we put our minds to, and that's what it was for real, man. I believe that he knew how to win. If you look at his records, man, he know how to win everywhere he's been. He turned around Buffalo, and when I got to Buffalo, we ended up being ranked one year. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know he know how to win, so I'm like, all right, let me help turn this team around. Let me see what it takes. So now I know what it takes, and I'm a better man because of it.
what's it like, the transfer portal? It's a brand new deal. 5 years ago you couldn't do that. It was you had to sit out a year. Now it's you can hop in there, you can hop out of it. It's kind of got a cool name. I'm in the portal. If you wanted to call it something way more lame, maybe not people, but you got in there. I mean, was it the Wild West? You're getting hit up left and right, and how is it in there?
It kind of felt like you were just a recruit, like you were in high school. It's a lot of different coaches hitting you up, and you don't know if they're going to offer you or not, but they just hitting you up just to make sure that that they see you. You know what I'm saying? Like, people trying to immediately get you on campus. Like, if people are really in need, they're going to really hit you up. And then it's like, it's going to be schools that that you expected to kind of talk to, or that you thought maybe they'll give me a chance. They wouldn't even talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, anything. So it's really like you said, the Wild West, because you don't know. And that's really the hardest part. But luckily for me, I hit it, and within the next day, I knew. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, thank God, because I know people who entered the portal and was just, kind of stuck. You know what I'm saying? So I was blessed for sure.
Do your teammates talk about, not many guys from KU went to the portal. We were talking with Coach Leipold earlier today, and he's like, I think we were the fewest guys going in the does that get talked about, where it's like, man, if I don't get my playing time, I'm going to bolt from here. Do players talk about the portal?
No, people don't talk about that, and I think it's because we so close as a team. Like, if we don't do anything with each other, we keep it real with each other, and that's something that we kind of preach a little bit to each other. Just be honest with each other, and like we find ways to grow. Of course, you can't make 120 people happy at all times.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be times that I'm not happy, but will I show it? No. Will they show it? Probably not. Like, you know what I'm saying? And even if they do show it, we let them know, like, better times are coming, and as long as you keep working and you prove it to yourself, then you will end up on the field. Like, it's nothing that you're doing here that you'll do somewhere else that will get you on the field faster. You know what I'm saying? They already know who you are. There's no point in leaving. So we understand that. People understand that. So, like, that don't even really get talked about too much. And if it do, then I guess those people are already gone. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. Like, I feel like if people choose to leave, then it has nothing to do with everybody else around them. Maybe they just wanted to leave, you know what I'm saying, and try something different.
Rich Miller, linebacker for the Kansas Jayhawks, joining us here from Big 12 Football Media Days at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. You're back. Craig's back on one side.
Yeah.
Taiwan's back on the other side.
Yeah.
All the guys behind you are back as well.
Yeah.
So you've got a back seven that returns intact from last season. How does that make things different than maybe what it was last year, where you guys are still learning each other, how each other plays, feeling each other out? How's the vibe different? How's the preparation for this season different with all that experience in the back seven?
Oh, you hit it right on the nose. We already filled each other out. We know each other, man. Like, we play with each other. We play the whole season with each other, man. We trust each other. So I think that's the biggest thing. We're able to trust each other. And, sometimes you got to get on each other. And we're able to get on each other way easier now. No one is going to take it personal because they know we all have set out the same goal. We know how I feel to go in that Texas game and get beat like that. We know exactly how that feels, and no one wants to feel that again. So, just having those experiences together is just like, yeah, let's go, man. We don't want to feel that again. And we went through blood, sweat, and tears together. That'll bring you close, man. So we a lot closer, and, it's easier now.
Nationally, people already know how good Jalen Daniels is. Yeah. Obviously, he wins preseason conference offensive player of the year. Mm-hmm. Devin Neal's a first team all-conference preseason pick as well. So there's knowledge of how much talent is in the backfield.
Yeah.
But the wide receivers, the tight ends, the offensive line, people aren't talking about that for your team this year, but there's a lot of experience on those positions as well. You guys go up against them in practice every day. Mm-hmm. How good are you going to be up front? How good are those skill guys on the outside going to be?
All of them is getting better every day. Like, the amount of work I've seen them put in, like, on the weekends, and when things aren't mandatory, it's just crazy. That's what we really preach, and that's what we feel like that's where our edge will be. People getting in all the extra work on the weekends, right after workouts. You know what I'm saying? People who stay at the facility all day. Those are those groups right there. Those groups stay in the indoor. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't kick them out of there, man. Like, when we talking, everybody, let's go in the indoor. Let's get some work in. So those groups and they're a lot deeper now too. I think they're, especially that O-line, man. I think the O-line is, like, very deep, man, and they all smart. They all can play each position. So, it's not, he just played tackle. No, he can probably play tackle and center. Like, he's versatile. So I think that's the biggest thing too. A lot of them are versatile, and coach can throw them in whichever way you want. And I think the game is won in the trenches, in my opinion. O-line, D-line, that's when the game is won. So we've got a lot better in those areas, and that's going to show, man. Like, it has to start somewhere. Of course, the quarterback has to get his shine, but who's blocking for him, remember? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're the ones who really doing it, and he's not to get me wrong, he's doing his thing. The O-line, like, they will be nice for sure.
What is the biggest difference about being a Kansas Jayhawk football player right now today as opposed to last year? You were coming off last year, obviously a losing season, and the losing had just kind of piled up over the years at Kansas, and there had been all those years of disappointment. Now you're coming off 6 wins, a bowl game, expectations are high. What's the biggest difference just when you're around campus, when you're around town, when you're in practice? What is the biggest difference being a Kansas football player now?
Honestly, they see you and they smile. They see you and they smile, and it's always, we can't wait to be there. We can't wait to sell out the crowd. And that's around, Lawrence exactly. So they see you and smile. It's not oh, do you play for KU football? Oh, how do you think it's going to be this year? After that first season, or actually when I first got there, that's how it used to be. I used to have to tell people, like, man, we're going to be better. But, like, now we can't wait to be there. It's so much fun. Like, everything is so positive, man. So I think that's the biggest thing. We allow our fans to walk around with more confidence. We not the only ones walk around with confidence now. Our fans and people who enjoy watching us play, man, they walk around with a lot more confidence, and they want to follow us.
Rich Miller, linebacker for the Kansas Jayhawks, joining us here on Radio Row. Big 12 Football Media Days here in Arlington, Texas, here on Mic'd Up. All right, when I played, we had practice at 2:30, meetings at 1:30, practice around 2:15, and it go till 5:30, 6 o'clock, and if you had class in the evening time, you left at 5:30, and the coaches grumbled and complained, but you still left. You practice in the mornings.
Yeah.
What time do you practice, and do you like that? Because I'm interested in the morning practice. Like, you have practice at like 7 in the morning?
Yeah, I'll take you through the whole schedule, like my personal schedule.
Yeah.
So I would say I enjoy it because my dad prepared me for this since I've been, I think, in maybe like 9th grade. I used to wake up, like, believe it or not, I woke up for a few years every day at 4 in the morning before school to go work out at the gym because my dad said you got to get prepared for it now. So for me, it's nothing. Like, he always taught me early bird gets the worm. You do a lot before the sun come up more than any man to do. So that part is easy for me. But the routine, I wake up probably around 5. We got to be in the building by 6:30. Eat your breakfast. Got meetings at 7. Meetings from 7 to probably about 8:40. Got to be on the practice field by like 8:58. It's some weird stuff like that. Like 8:58, you got to be on the practice field. Practice starts at like 9:03. Like,
how long are periods?
It depends.
Are they like 8 minutes? Like, you got some wild numbers.
Yeah, you
there?
will have 8-minute periods depending on what we're doing. Like, so if it's a let's see, a special teams period, you'll do 8 minutes of, or 4 minutes of drills, 4 minutes of walkthrough, then like you'll do a whole extra different period. You'll get like a break. You do a 30-second break. Then you get like an 8-minute period of doing it.
For those wondering, the periods in a football practice, there's around 1 period all the way to about 25.
Yeah, it can be 26.
It can be long, and they break them down for the first 2 periods, which we always did 5 minutes because it was just simple.
Mm-hmm.
And, you do first 5 periods would be the first 25 minutes would be special teams, and then you break it down to inside run, and then you break down to pass skelly, and then you can break down to team, and then you break down to backed up or goal line or all that kind of stuff. So you did 8. That's how technical it is there.
Oh yeah, it's super technical.
Wow.
And it's like they don't waver. If anything, they'll like take some time off because we did it so quick. So like, say it is a 8 or 10 minute period. If we get everything done, if everybody gets like 5 reps in that period and we got 3 minutes left, all right, bet next period. You know what I'm saying? We take that 3 minutes away. Like, you wanna be faster than slower. Like, we're never behind, to be honest.
So when is practice done?
Usually
like 11,
probably around 10:45, 11.
So then you got class the rest of the day.
Yeah. So then it
He
depends.
said yeah.
Not just class, because if you want to be great, you got to do a lot of film study. You got to do extra work. You got to come back, do your rehab treatment. Like, your day is usually full. But luckily, I'm a senior this year, so I only have a few
Hey,
classes.
give me the
I'm
classes
good.
you're in. You in underwater basket weaving? Hey man, I've been there. I remember
Man.
I messed up my class schedule, and I needed one more science. I had to take Intro to Geology as a senior.
Oh my God.
I'm not gonna lie. I walk in there and they look like they're 12-year-olds in there. And I'm just like, oh my God. And the teacher went through it all. Like, how many freshmen? Like 99% of the class. Any sophomores, juniors, any seniors who screwed up their stuff? Yeah, that's me. Oh, so you got a good class schedule.
Yeah, I'm
then.
good, man. Like, I get to focus a lot more on football this
Nice.
semester, and that's why I think we're gonna be a lot better. Cause I have a lot less to worry about. I'm just worried about the team, worried about getting better every day, worried about how to be better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can kind of take that next step in my career now. So,
all right, got a last couple questions
Bet.
for you. Can you ever shut up Kenny Logan? Like,
I can.
You can.
I
Like,
can sometimes.
Like, does he have an off switch?
I know, like, I can sometimes.
I feel like
everybody can't. Everybody can't do it. I probably can. You really can't shut up Devin Neal.
Okay.
Not it's in a like a different way. Devin don't shut up.
So here's my next question. We've asked somebody, like Coach Leipold. I don't know if you know this, but we talked to him. He brought out that Kenny Logan's a Swiftie, loves Taylor Swift.
Oh man,
he loves Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So then I gotta keep it quiet because I know what I'm gonna ask. Can you give me something that we need to talk? What do we need to ask Devin Neal? What can I ask Devin Neal that he is not gonna be ready for? Just the same way we asked Kenny Logan what should we ask Jalen Daniels? And he said, oh, you got to ask about apple juice. He says Jalen Daniels loves apple juice more than anybody in the world.
He does. He's listening.
He's
yeah. It's not a recon mission anymore.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know because Dev is ready. I told you can't shut him up. He's ready. Like you will not shut him up. He's ready for anything.
For anything.
He's gonna be, he's gonna tell you a whole story.
We got something for him though.
Which one?
Well, we were told from was it Jalen?
I think so.
Jalen told us that he forgot his shoes and he had to go get some shoes.
Oh yeah, he did. Hey, ask him about his top button.
Okay.
Ask him about
Is
the
he
top
too
button.
thick up there? He got
his
big
got
neck.
too thick. He's talking about he could fit it 2 months ago, but he can't fit it now. Ask him about that.
That's weight room.
How the top button.
All right, I got you.
Sure.
Last thing we got for you. Got some new teams in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you were tour guide, you're in charge, right? Tour guide Rich.
Mm-hmm.
What are you telling Cincinnati fans, Houston fans? You guys don't play Houston, but Cincinnati and BYU come to Lawrence this year.
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell their fans? What do you need to do in Lawrence? What's something fun? Whether it's something to do.
I'm not gonna lie. Go to Silas and Maddie's ice cream, and if they have banana pudding ice cream, get that ice cream.
Okay.
Like, that's probably the best ice cream I ever had in my life.
Okay.
I promise you. Like,
see, we say this is for like the opposing teams, but Dan and
it's
I are
for
going
us.
to Lawrence.
Yeah,
make sure y'all go. Real talk. And they might. Oh, what a gentleman!
Look at that. See, he buttering you up right now. That's what he's doing.
No, real talk though, man. Y'all go, and they always switch up the flavors. So
okay,
I went and I got lucky and got the banana pudding. I don't know if I'll ever get it again, but I know that one. I was like, this is the best ice cream I've ever had. So
okay,
whatever like y'all think that sounds kind of crazy or good, get it because it's going to taste exactly like what you think it would. Like I had sweet potato pie ice cream, like, bro.
Yeah,
you sold me already.
I'm
ice
in.
cream.
Like, come on.
Well, we appreciate the time, Rich. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the car wash here at Media Day, and best of luck this upcoming year.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
That is Rich Miller, the linebacker for the Kansas Jayhawks here on Mic'd Up Big 12 Football Media Days. Looking very nice in his maroon suit, I will say that.
Yeah, man, they all look sharp. I'll tell you what. Yeah, the KU players.
Yeah, looking good.
Top to bottom, everybody looks sharp.
Looking good.
And Devin brought him some ice water, which was very nice.
Yes, he did.
I wonder where he got the ice. I haven't got water earlier. I didn't find any ice.
You were drinking RC Cola, man.
I was drinking. I switched up to water. I got my caffeine in the morning. I switched it up to water.
We'll get a quick timeout. Got to get a break in. When we come back, we'll talk a little Brett Yormark talk. A lot more here from Radio Row at the goal line here in the North End Zone at Jerry World here on Mic'd Up.
WIBW, Topeka, FM 104.9.
Welcome back into Mic'd Up. Jake LeBon along with Dan Lucero. Fulton Castor will be coming up in the 3 o'clock hour. We're hopefully going to talk with Devin Neal, the Lawrence High running back for the Kansas Jayhawks, coming up in the 3 o'clock hour. He's the last Jayhawk that we haven't talked to yet today. We'll try to get that during 580 Sports Talk. We'll hear from Lance Leipold again coming up in the 5 o'clock hour with 580 Sports Talk. Great stuff talking with Lance Leipold earlier today, and had a lot of fun with the KU guys so far.
Yeah.
They're a fun bunch of guys.
And you know, you can tell, so we haven't talked to Devin yet, but we did talk to Jalen Daniels last year at this very same event, Big 12 Media Day. The difference in him, and I mean, not to say he wasn't confident, but just the way that he carried himself last year and the way he's carrying himself this year, he feels much more at ease.
Mm-hmm.
He feels much more comfortable, and he feels like he knows that he's one of the best players in the league. He's carrying himself like, I mean, for lack of a better way to put it, he's carrying himself like a star. And I love seeing that from your quarterback, your main man. I love seeing that from the Kansas quarterback, that he's carrying himself like, nah, I'm the man around here. You can watch, you don't believe me, you can watch me on my chain.
Yeah, that was cool.
He's got a video screen.
It looks like a Tamagotchi kind of.
Yes, that is exactly what it looks like. So
shout out to 2000 or 1997 Tamagotchi.
So Kenny Logan came over here iced up.
Yeah, that was cool too.
And like, okay, how's anybody going to beat that? Jalen Daniels got the piece with a little video screen on it, the size of a virtual pet, and it's running highlights of Jalen Daniels. You talk about a flex.
That's pretty sweet.
Like, I couldn't do that. What, you got like a slideshow of me like talking into a microphone? Like, I couldn't wear a pendant of that. No chance. But Jalen Daniels, got it on, man. It
worked.
First team, he's preseason offensive player of the year, and his first team got it on in the Big 12 conference.
That was fun talking with Rich Miller.
Yes.
The first thing that jumps out there is the transfer portal is wild. Once Buffalo put his name, because the school has to okay it. It's not like the players have a login for the transfer portal, and they log it in like a Gmail account. That's not how that works. But once the school, and schools are getting better about putting kids in the transfer portal, but once they got in the transfer portal, he's like, I was only in there for like an hour and I'm getting hit up. That's incredible. That really, really is. I mean, you have to have a transfer portal coach. Like you do. Hey, this guy's in the portal. We got to get after it. But that also speaks again to Lance Leipold on once Lance reached out to him, it was over. Like, that's the connection. When you get to the O-lineman, Nowitzki, same thing,
Yeah.
Hey, I want to go play for that guy. I want to play for that coach. And you're seeing it in the recruiting rankings right now. You're seeing it in the fact that KU is getting better players. So I'm excited. I said this, though, the schedule for KU is tough. They're one of the few teams, if not the only team, to play the top four in the league, and they don't play Houston and they don't play West Virginia. Like, two of the four teams that they don't play are Houston and West Virginia. That's tough. That's the one thing I look about that when it comes to the KU football team is I think the Illinois game is big. I really do.
It's massive.
If they beat Illinois, I think they're going to go bowling. If they don't, that's going to be an uphill battle.
Uphill climb, yeah.
But that schedule at the end, I mean, you finish Oklahoma, at Iowa State, Texas Tech, and Kansas State, and then on the road to Cincinnati. I mean, you better have.
I mean, I can convince myself there are 2 wins out of 5 there, and there might have to be.
Yeah, BYU is at home. That's a good situation, but fun to talk with Rich Miller and the rest of the K-State contingent.
I loved his answer.
The KU contingent.
Loved his answer when I asked him. Like, it has to be so much. It's a different world now for Kansas football. It's different than it's been for the last decade plus, right? Where they're a real football program.
You want to know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of the answer Ned Yost used to give when he would go get his coffee in the morning. He wouldn't give his name, but then in 2013, 2014, they were starting to win, and they'd be like, "Hey, I'm Ned," and they would be like, "Ned," It's like, funny. Winning cures everything.
Yeah, you put your chest out a little bit, and I loved Rich Miller's answer. I said, "What's different now?" And he says, "Man, people smile when they see us.
Yeah,
people are happy to see us. People are excited about Jayhawk football in that way. Something that simple, that small that he noticed." I love that answer. Yeah, great contingent. We've talked to 3 of the 4, and you just come away really enjoying those kids, and really hope that you have enjoyed us chatting with them so far today.
If you missed anything, go to our website. So simple, so easy, 580wibw.com. Click on the podcast page, or you can go to our YouTube page. It will be up on our YouTube page. Talk with Lance Leipold, Jalen Daniels, Kenny Logan, Rich Miller. A lot of good stuff there. We'll get a quick timeout. Coming up next, do want to get to what Brett Yormark had to say. We planned on doing that at 1 o'clock, and then they plopped Kenny Logan in our face. You never know what's going to happen. People just literally sit down in front of you.
Yeah.
So I do want to talk about what Brett Yormark had to say. Was a little bit worried at first about a big event here locally. Not so much anymore. Apparently it slipped his mind, but he referenced it because an Iowa State fan asked about it, because it's just as important to Iowa State as maybe he's here locally. We'll get to that, expansion, all of that coming up to finish off this edition of Mic'd Up here from Big 12 Football Media Days.
WIVW, Topeka, FM 104.9.
Welcome back into Big 12 Football Media Days here in Arlington, Texas, here at AT&T Stadium, the massive, massive building that K-State won the Big 12 title last year. When we talk to K-State tomorrow, do you think they're probably going to have flashbacks to the game and winning right here at this end zone and went through the uprights right there?
Yeah, we can ask them. Like, when you look at these uprights, what do you think about? What do you remember?
Because K-State, they will have, I can just think here, Daniel Green, Cooper Beebe. Hey, Cooper, when you were blocking for the PAT, were you nervous? That'd be some great stuff. That's what I did right here on the goal line.
Yeah.
We are here, Big 12 Football Media Days. Jake LeBon along with Dan Lucero here for Mic'd Up. We will get to a lot more coming up in the 3 o'clock hour as well on 580 Sports Talk. But Brett Yormark did speak to the media today, and he went full business professional. This isn't a former AD, Bob. He gives off a completely different vibe than the most electric man in college athletics history, Bob Bowlesby. But I'll give you the things that jumped out to me right away. And the first one was Big 12 expansion. That was the first question he was at, because he did not bring it up in his speech. He didn't, nor what was brought up was in the fireside chat. It was like kind of a three-parter. You had his opening statement, then a fireside chat, and then the Q&A. It was brought up in the fireside chat, and he was asked about expansion. And he said that, I'm not going to tell you about expansion. And I'll give you the exact quote. We have a plan for expansion. I'm not going to address it, so don't ask me again. Hopefully we can execute that plan sooner than later. I'm excited about this conference. If we stay at 12, that's fine. If we add schools, that makes sense. We will pursue it. He was also then asked by Kels Robinette, and we talked to Kels last week about this, and he brought up about it that he liked 14 teams. And so Kels said, you said that. And he admitted, he's like, yeah, I said it, and I kind of backtracked a little bit. He goes, we're not chasing a number. If and when the opportunity comes, we will pursue it. Is this the worst Big 12 secret? Like, is this the worst secret in college football?
The worst kept secret?
Like,
yeah, probably.
They're going to expand. Like, it's funny, It says here from Dan Wolken of USA Today, who we've had on the show before, what the Big 12 wants to do in expansion is the worst kept secret in sports. And people are joking about it. He goes, I won't address it today. I'll just leak it to the media repeatedly for the last 8 months. If one of the schools in the Pac-12 wants to come to the Big 12, I think the Big 12 is accepting pretty much anyone.
Yeah, without thinking too hard about it.
Like, they're not going to take Oregon State. They're not going to take
Cal,
Stanford, Pullman, Washington State. They're not taking them. But if Arizona State, I would think they'd take both of them. They're going to do it. It just has to make sense. To me, the more interesting stuff was the Gonzaga question and UConn. I think UConn's the most interesting one. I really do wonder about UConn. I don't think Gonzaga is going to work. I think that's.
I think Gonzaga and UConn are a basketball-only package deal. I think if one comes, the other does too. And if one doesn't want to do it, the other's a no-go. I think that is a nod towards building a basketball brand, and maybe even a basketball brand that is separate to its football brand in some way. If you add those two schools, those two basketball programs, there is no debate about who the best college basketball conference in the country is.
I don't think there's no debate right now.
There's not much debate right now, but there's the debate is
correct,
over.
Correct.
If you add programs with the level at the level of obviously the defending national champs.
So we're both in
Gonzaga.
agreement. He's not going to mention, and he can't just say we're going to go after this guy.
Yeah, no, he's not going to stand up there and say this is our shopping list.
Yeah. And he kind of said, when I meant open for business, I meant open for different avenues. People thought about that. So I do think they are going to expand. The question is when. The other thing was the Big 12 title games. They announced today that they're going to extend the football title game until 2031 here at Giro. This is the right space to do it. Let's be real. This is the right spot to do it. And then I believe it was Jenny Carlson of the Oklahoman asked about, well, what about, softball, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, and he said, yes, we are going there. We're going to, we're working on it. No mention originally Kansas City and the Big 12 basketball tournament. And I was like, okay, he's very calculated. Normally, I would say if he doesn't say something, it's meant to be. So then finally someone from Iowa State did ask him about it, because Iowa State loves coming down to
South, right?
To the T-Mobile Center. So he then said, that was my first experience. I absolutely loved it. It was terrific. But he still didn't say anything of note. Like, yeah, great. Hey, I love this.
He did say, that's another one we'd like to double down on.
And then he finally did. He goes, yes, I'm working with local officials, and we want to double down and keep it in Kansas City. But he took forever to say that. I was like, hey, Dan, guess what? I love this RC Cola. It's delicious. It's fantastic. I remember the first time I had an RC Cola. So refreshing. He didn't say I was going to get another one, but then he did. So I do think it will stay in Kansas City, and it does. It needs to stay in Kansas City. That's where it should go, but I think that might be the one spot that it might rotate.
So I think it's not too early to refer to AT&T Stadium as something of, maybe iconic is too strong a word, but this is a significant venue in the world of sports. Like, this stadium is a big deal. This stadium is like, when you talk about football stadiums, like, I'm not putting on a level of Rose Bowl. I can't do that yet, but like, there have been a lot of big games and a lot of great moments, and you can get a lot of people in here and a lot of great crowds. Like, this is a stadium with some significance in the history of the sport of football, I think, already to this point. So to have your conference championship football game here, that means something. That gives it a little extra juice. That your game is at a venue like this. For basketball, Kansas City is a great college basketball city. A great college basketball city. And
experience, college basketball experience right there.
Most Final Fours have been in Kansas City than in any other city in the United States. I think it makes sense to treat the T-Mobile Center as basketball's version of AT&T Stadium and say, this is a venue where we want to have our biggest moments.
I hope they do.
And own this building's history when it comes to college basketball. Because, look, we know Brett Yormark's got connections to throw out some venues in a bigger city. Barclays in Brooklyn. Or maybe he's got his eyes on Madison Square, because that is the mecca of college basketball.
And he could probably do it.
But if you okay, fine. But if the Big 12 goes to Madison Square Garden, it'll never be the Big 12's building. It'll never be. That's the Big East building. Yeah. Always and forever, that's the Big East building. You can make T-Mobile Center the Big 12's building.
I'm glad he said double down. That was big. Big 12 Mexico. They really like that. The Houston AD is excited about that. That's good stuff. This is the difference, because he looks at it as a businessman and trying to grow. This is why when he was the president, of the Barclays Center, how do I grow the Barclays Center? Well, he's trying to grow the Big 12. He's like, we're going after Gen Z. We're going after you. We need the young. You want to know who, ready for this? You want to know who should be the commissioner of baseball? Brett Yormark. Brett Yormark should be the commissioner of baseball, but he's too busy kicking ass here as the commissioner of the Big 12. We're going after Gen Z. We're going after Twitter followers. We're going after Instagram. He knows what's going on. He's got, like, college football fans, K-State fans, KU fans, like the old guard, 40 and above. Just put them on as many times as you can broadcast, because people just can't stand streaming it. But they'll get more. It'll get better. It'll get better. But he knows where to go. This is the business side of it. And that's why I think it's refreshing. And that's where we're going, because that's the other thing. He mentioned with this new television contract, which that's his feather in his cap. He got $50 million to the Big 12. But he was asked, what about the schedule coming up with this new TV contract? Get ready for Friday night football games, folks. And I've said this on this show many times. Can't stand Friday night games.
No.
Can't stand them.
Hate them.
Don't like them. Thursday night games, man, give me a ton of Thursday night games. Give me Thursday night games. I'm all for that. Hell, Washburn has their first 2 games of the year on Thursday nights. Love Thursday nights. It's terrific. Don't like Friday night games. I don't. That is for high school. That's just the way it should be. But when Brett Yormark, his number one job is not to be a steward of the game. His job as the commissioner of the Big 12 is to bring in, Mark Mangino said it best, dollar signs. And how do you get money to the Big 12? You're not going to get the $70 million TV deals with the Big 10 and the SEC. It's just not going to happen. So how do you do it? Different window markets. Prime time on Friday nights. Prime time on Thursday nights. You're already starting to see it with K-State playing a Friday game against Oklahoma State this year. KU playing 2 of them this year. In the future, he did say on here, playing on Thursday and Friday. We will pursue playing on Thursday and Friday. You can play Friday night in Provo at 8 o'clock Central Time, prime time, Friday night. They're going to do it because ESPN and Fox need that window filled, and they're going to do it. I hate it, don't like it. Friday night should be reserved for high school football. It should be. I'm all for Thursday. I hope they turn Thursday night instead of into Maction. Turn it in Thursday night, Tuesday night's Maction, right?
Tuesday and Wednesday night, yeah.
Yeah, Thursday night. Why can't Thursday night be Big 12? I workshop it here. Help me out here. Big 12.
Big 12's Big Thursday. I don't know.
You know what I mean? You got Big Monday. We can make it, I don't know. There are marketing people who do that. But that's what they need to do. That's what they need to do. I don't like Friday, but I get it, though.
I do wonder.
I get it. It's money.
I do wonder what kind of resistance Yormark would meet on an administrative level from the Texas schools in particular, where Friday nights in Texas are such a big deal for high school football. I got to imagine that the ADs at Baylor and Texas Tech and Houston and TCU aren't going to be thrilled about playing Friday night football games. Just like when the Big Ten said they were going to play on Friday nights. Nebraska was Nebraska was absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're not playing on Friday nights. Fridays for high school football and stay in Nebraska. We are not going to play games on Friday night. Nebraska played Rutgers on a Friday night last year.
Yeah. Do they have a Friday night game this year?
I don't know if they have a Friday night game this year. And maybe there are ways where you say, okay, it's just a handful of games and it's, you get one a year, or it's, maybe it's later in the year. Maybe you do it more in November. I don't know. I don't know that there's a great way to do it. I really don't. But if it's going to make people money, eventually that's how you get to yes. That's how the Big Ten got Nebraska to yes, and that's how Brett Yormark is going to get the Texas schools to yes. Yeah, Nebraska's playing on Friday night against Illinois this year
at Champaign, October the 6th.
And that is an exclusive FS1 national broadcast right there.
Yep. So
money talks,
and that's,
we don't have to like it, but it is what it is.
But at least you know.
Yeah.
At least hey, you want to try to get as much money. I mean, they are squeezing out every dollar that they can get out of this Big 12. And that's why, if you disagree with it, money, what is it? Live Golf, right?
Yeah.
The PIF, money talks, right? Same thing. Hey, why did Nebraska leave the Big 12? It wasn't because of Texas. All my Nebraska buddies were like, we hated taking direction from Texas. No, you left because the Big Ten gave you a check bigger than the Big 12. Why did A&M leave? Because they wanted a check to leave. Why is Oklahoma leaving? Why is Texas leaving? Because they want money. Look, I didn't want Missouri to leave. I didn't want Nebraska to leave. Hopefully Colorado will come back. Because do I think Colorado's a smart move expansion-wise? I really don't know. But, 10-year-old Jake loved watching K-State take on Colorado up at Folsom Field, Nostalgia rules out. So I get why they're doing it on Thursday and Friday. I really, really do. Anything else that Yormark had to say that kind of piqued your interest?
I want to go back to the point you made about we're looking to attract Gen Z and bragging about the increase in Twitter and Instagram followers. Like, I got to be honest. If I were following an SEC team, if I were covering an SEC team, or if I was covering a Big Ten team, or even if I was covering a team in the ACC or the Pac-12, my initial inclination of that would probably be to roll my eyes and to say, yeah, come on, that's not important. That doesn't really matter. But the fact of the matter is, it kind of does. And I think that being the conference that is thinking about a younger audience, trying to appeal to a younger audience, trying to be a conference with a brand that is strong enough that your young people aspire to be part of it, that young people aspire to play in the Big 12 conference, to play in the Big 12 championship game because they saw a cool commercial on their Instagram for the TCU Baylor game or something like that. Like I do. I think there's value to that. It's forward thinking in a way that I think you have to be, because like brand wise and monetarily speaking, you're not going to catch the SEC. You're not going to catch the Big Ten. You're not going to do it with dollars alone. You're not. You have to do it with eyeballs. You have to be creative. You have to tell your own story and build your own brand in a unique enough way that it stands on its own. And the Big 12 is trying to do that. This is the way that Brett Yormark and company are trying.
My last thing about Brett Yormark, when they said they're open up for business, this is what he did in his opening statement. We extended the TV deal through 31, and we still have ESPN and Fox. We accelerated the withdrawal of Texas and Oklahoma, which they did get money for.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes, as I wanted them to bleed the Big 12 to whatever, but that's the difference. Remember, Bob Bowlesby first came out saying, "Nope, forget them. We're going to sue ESPN." Right? Here comes Brett Yormark, calms the waters, gets it done, got some money from Oklahoma and Texas. It was win-win. Then they announced the Big 12 Pro Day, which I don't know if that's going to work. Then you've got the Big 12 Mexico. Then you're talking about Gen Z. Like, Bob Bowlesby doing any of that?
No.
I mean, it's such forward thinking. That's great stuff. We'll get a quick timeout. We'll wrap up this edition of Mic'd Up here from Big 12 Football Media Day coming up next here on Radio Row.
WIPW Topeka FM 104.9.
So you just gonna drop the mic on?
Boom! Drop the mic.
Boom, mic drop.
Drop mic, we're out.
We're wrapping things up for Mic'd Up here from Big 12 Football Media Days. All right, Dan, what do you got today? What are you going to drop us with?
I'm going to drop the mic with, I really enjoyed talking to the KU contingent here so far today. We still got Devin Neal to go, but Rich Miller, Kenny Logan, Jalen Daniels, great personalities, and really, really enjoyed getting to know them a little better today.
Kenny Logan's a Swiftie, and not only is he a Swiftie, he Rich Miller laughed at it. Just people enjoy, he's a Swiftie, man. I think he's trying to he's like us, man. My wife tried to get tickets, he tried to get tickets, man. Someone's got to get some and Kenny Logan needs some NIL money to get him to go see Taylor Swift. Get him to the Eras tour here in the next couple of weeks before he has football practice. That'll do it for Mic'd Up. We got a lot more coming. Brendan and Fulton back at the studio. We'll stay on board here, trying to run down a few other Jayhawks and anybody else who wants to stop by and talk to us. A lot of fun here, Big 12 Football Media Days. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Mic'd Up at noon. We got 580 Sports Talk coming up next.